In the past few years, the video gaming industry has undergone a revolutionary shift. Now, in 2022, gamers are accessing video games in a number of different formats and on various platforms. The only thing we know for sure is that the gaming industry is in a state of flux, and it'll probably never be the same again. So stay tuned and don't go away, because we're revealing gaming trends you need to look out for. First up, what's one of the hottest new trends in gaming? You're about to find out. Augmented reality was a smashing success with millions of people around the world. But all of the hype seems to have faded away, and ultimately, the gameplay wasn't exciting enough to keep gamers interested in the long run. Despite the steep user decline in augmented reality, Pokémon Go showed the world how complete strangers, even those who are not into Pokémon or even gaming, could participate together in an augmented reality game or setting. At Pokémon Go's peak, swaths of teens were roaming their neighborhoods, crowding a Pokéspot, and trying to catch them all. Whether it was the popularity of Pokémon itself or the AR aspect that caused the craze, nobody really knows. But gaming insiders theorized that it was probably a combination of the two. What about augmented reality's big brother? Virtual reality, or VR for short, takes the AR experience a step further. Virtual reality has been available for a few years now, but it seems like 2022 was its comeback year. Oculus Rift and the games that Steam has been developing look really great, and even PS4 is cashing in on VR now, hoping its own version of the headset will prove to be more accessible. Although PS4 hasn't released a price for their tech yet, millions of people have a PS4 console. But there's also a company called Gear, which lets you play classic games like Minecraft in VR. Clearly, the VR industry is a very competitive marketplace, and the options available to consumers are seemingly endless. Next up, are there any positives for society with VR gaming? Let's find out. One of the positive things that can come from virtual reality is inclusivity. Over the past few years, racism, sexism, homophobia, and xenophobia have been running rampant, essentially around the world. Studies have shown that video games can be a great way to reach audiences of all kinds, and particularly when it comes to young people. Data suggests that the inherent diversity and inclusivity in games exposes not only children, but all gamers to the beauty of being different. Researchers speculate that diversity could become more prevalent in video games the same way it has in other sectors of the entertainment industry that are making a stronger push toward inclusion and equality. But another area of gaming that seems to be making a comeback is mobile gaming. For instance, Nintendo is diving back into the mobile gaming market, and trends indicate that the old top mobile games are still the top mobile games today, and that newer mobile games haven't taken their place. This brings us to another question. What happens when games get too much hype? Gamers are learning that when games are hyped up too much, they sometimes fail to deliver what the developers initially promised. So now, there's talk among developers about not hyping up games so much prior to their release and shortening their hype cycles. Up next, what are some of the most important trends in the gaming industry that you need to look out for? Let's take a look. We'll start with Roblox. Roblox is helping to scale independent game developers. Searches for Roblox are up 322% over the previous 5 years. And while indie gaming is not an entirely new concept, indie game producers and developers now have platforms such as Steam that enable them to self-distribute their new games, and it's catching on pretty fast. Some indie games such as Among Us and Stardew Valley are prime examples of indie games becoming bestsellers. Roblox hopes to scale up the indie gaming trend by combining game creation and distribution on one single platform, and at least for now, their goal appears to be working. Roblox has over 200 million monthly active users. However, the majority of its users will never build a game using the Roblox Studio game engine. There are some amateur game developers who do use the Roblox platform to quickly get feedback on their games so that they can receive feedback from Roblox users. Another gaming trend appears to be efforts by developers geared toward bringing more female players into the mix. It's no secret that gamers are males, so developers are trying to create games that attract female players. This is often done by developing games with more female protagonists. Stay tuned and don't go away, because we're bringing you the latest gaming trends that you need to look out for. Next up, how are new PC gaming platforms challenging Steam? You're about to find out. The PC gaming industry is worth a jaw-dropping $35 billion per year. That is the sum total value of the entire gaming console market. Recently, the PC gaming market was dominated by a single player, Valve's marketplace platform, Steam. To put things into perspective, Steam is so dominant and so popular that 47% of publishers put their games on the platform. The reason for Steam's rise to prominence is largely due to what's known in the corporate world as first-mover advantage. Essentially, what that means is that Steam was first. It was the first platform to allow gamers to browse games, buy them, or review them after playing. It was also the first platform that allowed users to play PC games too. Steam built a large community of gamers that play together, discuss bugs on Steam's many forums, and also build mods for their favorite games. But like many companies who dominate a particular marketplace or niche, there's a new challenger in town, and Steam's first-mover advantage is starting to wane. We're talking about GOG.com, one of the first platforms to challenge Steam's marketplace monopoly. GOG brands itself as the go-to platform for retro video games, and it's really picking up steam, no pun intended. GOG made it their mission to focus on retro games that couldn't be found on Steam, but they've since evolved and now offer their users access to retro, new, and mainstream video game releases. Up next are cloud gaming services on the rise. Let's have a look. Cloud gaming services are growing and expanding at an exponential rate. Over the past 5 years, cloud gaming has grown 105%. Theoretically speaking, buying games online should be a fun experience because you can browse countless games and purchase them instantly without even leaving your home. In practice, though, buying a game online can come with its own unique set of problems. For one, downloading a game can take hours. PS4 fans have long complained about Sony PlayStation's extremely slow servers, which often means that it's faster to drive to the store and buy a physical copy of the game depending on where you live. Another issue with buying games online is that your hardware may not be up to date, and if that's the case, you could be in for some pesky performance issues. Thirdly, there's the issue of hard drive space. If you don't have enough space available on your console or PC, buying an online game could be a problem. You may be forced to delete a game that you loved and paid for, which would be a total bummer. Cloud gaming essentially solves these annoying problems. How? By allowing gamers to stream games in real time. This enables gamers to use the best and most advanced hardware without ever needing to actually invest in it. With cloud gaming, you don't have to download anything. You just start playing. Finally, is there a war raging between next-gen consoles? The next generation of gaming consoles launched in 2020. Microsoft Xbox's Series X and Sony PlayStation 5. The question burning in the minds of gaming insiders is, who will win the console wars? Unfortunately, though, that's a question we can't answer because nobody in the gaming industry has a clue who will come out on top, and it remains anyone's guess. What we do know is that the two gaming giants will likely determine the biggest trends in the gaming industry for years to come. So in other words, nothing's really changed in the war between Xbox and PlayStation. It's still going on, and neither seems closer to actually winning the battle. It's almost comparable to the situation with Coca-Cola and Pepsi. The only real wild card in the battle is the Nintendo Switch. As was the case in previous console wars, the big dog to come out on top is typically the console that offers the best games. So it's not really about the console itself per se, but rather it has more to do with the quality of games being offered. But if we look at each console separately, there are some unique features that may help give them an edge over the other. Take for instance the PS5, which includes a high-end SSD. This simple hardware upgrade wasn't included in the PS4, and it drastically reduces load times, which in turn allows developers to create larger and more detailed worlds. And then we have the Xbox Series X with its smart delivery feature. This gives gamers a free Xbox Series X version of any Xbox One game that they may have purchased in the past, assuming the game appears on both consoles. As you can see, both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 come with some great features, which is why the console that ultimately wins the battle will likely do so because of the quality of games it puts out. Who do you think will win the console battle? That's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching.